everyone, and welcome back to another painting video.
Today I'm going to be talking about what makes a limited palette painting and how it works and how to do it. So you may have heard me talk about limited palette painting a lot in my previous episodes, especially the Fortress Inquisitorius episode, and I've explained what it is, but not very well. So I just wanted to show you a few examples from my own paintings, what is and what isn't a limited palette painting, and kind of my own definition, and some colors I typically use for limited palette painting. So as you can see in front of us is this painting of the Death Star from Rogue One. I can't really remember the scene, it just looked cool, so I painted it. And this is a classic limited palette painting. I've used some, I believe this is permanent rose down here, mixed with some white. I have lots of phthalo green. And phthalo green and permanent rose were my main colors for this painting. So I just mixed them in different quantities to get kind of a nice blackish bluish color, which I was doing in the Fortress Inquisitorius painting as well. And I mixed some with white, and there was also some olive green, I believe, down here. But I only really had 3 or 4 colors that I was working with. And what that gave me was lots of harmony. So the main benefit of painting with a limited palette, I've done some research, is that it gives your painting lots of harmony. So one of the main reasons why painting with like every color under the sun sometimes doesn't work is that the painting kind of has like some weird, like it looks like lots of little paintings mushed into one big thing. But something that is beneficial with limited palette is that everything works. So all the colors have some commonality with each other. So like this color might be the same as this color, which kind of complements this color, which is almost the same as this color, and stuff like that. And it can give you some really nice range to work with, even though you're like limiting yourself. And it's really cool. I'll give you another example of a limited palette painting. And at first you might think, what? What? No. This is not a limited palette painting, but it is. Believe me, it is. So my main 3 colors or 4 colors for this painting were alizarin crimson that you can see here. There was some Naples yellow, I believe, or ochre. Can't remember, but it was one of those 2. And then I had olive green and some turquoise. Oh, what's that color called? I can't remember. But I just mixed those up in different quantities and in different variations to make this. And it was really interesting because this one really made me think about how to mix colors, because there was like lots of different warm things that were kind of cool at the same time, and there was lots of different tones, and like I had to get really dark in some places, and it was really fun painting this. I think I might do something like it in the future for you guys on YouTube, but this one is, yeah, like it just kind of goes to show how limited palette can be very vibrant. Like it doesn't have to be like kind of monotone, monochromatic. It can actually have lots of depth in it. Okay, so now you might be asking yourself, well, what isn't a limited palette then? So this painting, it was my first painting that I did on YouTube. It was the Cal Kestis lightsaber. And this is definitely not a limited palette. And even though I didn't really use all that many colors, I mixed them, but like not really in the same way. So there's a lot of different things going on here. Like I think this is permanent rose mixed with like some other thing. There's like cadmium yellow here. There's like cerulean blue. There's like burnt sienna and ultramarine blue and white and Winsor blue. It's like all over the place. So I would not call this a limited palette painting, even though there's brown and there's blue, and that's pretty much it. But I just kind of used colors in a different way, so I would not call this a limited palette. And here's another example of a not limited palette painting. Now this one, it could kind of fool you maybe, because it does look very monochromatic. Like it's mostly just this orange and then some of this like weird stuff down here. And this is definitely not a limited palette. There's just so much going on here that, like, I used probably 10 at least colors in here. There's the weird orange background, there's like straight black up here, and there's some, like, I don't even know what this is. There's lots of cadmium red, cadmium yellow, there's probably some Naples yellow in here, there's the pyrrole orange, looks like there's some ultramarine blue and some burnt sienna, and there's got to be like alizarin crimson in here. So even though this looks, oh, it's just orange, it must be a limited palette. No, it was not. There's too many colors in here, and it's really not harmonic. Over here, this was like Naples yellow, and there's no other Naples yellow anywhere in the painting. So it's kind of like, sometimes it can work to like draw some focus to a certain point. Like, yes, I wanted the focus to lead you here. So that was probably good to do, but otherwise, this is not a limited palette painting. And these two, you might think, okay, there's not a lot of colors here. But yes, you're right, there's probably only, 3 colors plus the white in this one. But it's the way I use the colors that does not make it a limited palette. So one of the defining features of a limited palette painting is that you use all of your colors, you mix them together in different ways to create harmony. But these colors do not mix at all. They are in their separate little areas. They do not touch each other. They do not interact with each other. It's like they're all on their phones, like on TikTok or something. They're not doing anything together. Like, it still works to create a thing, but that's not really the purpose of this painting. This painting, you could argue that it is a limited palette because I mixed the colors in different ways. But the other argument that it's not a limited palette is that there's only cool colors. I did not use any warm colors to balance it out. And typically when you're using a limited palette, you have like a warm and a cool color of each different like color, I guess. I don't know. So you might have like a cool yellow and a warm yellow, and a cool blue and a warm blue, which doesn't really make any sense. Like, how can you have cool and warm colors of cool and warm colors? But trust me, it's a thing. But yeah, this one, I did mix the colors, but not in a limited palette-y way. One last thing to show you. This. So why might you want to use a limited palette? To avoid this. So this is what happens when you decide, hey, I'm gonna use like every color. And especially if you don't know what you're doing. So this is what happened when I mixed like every color under the sun. There's some ultramarine blue, there's lots of cadmium yellow, there's ochre, there's alizarin crimson, I think, probably some permanent rose, there's Windsor violet. There's so much going on here, and none of it makes sense. Like, none of it harmonizes at all. There's like this yellow section, and then there's this like purpley pink mess. So this is, if I had maybe used a limited palette, it would have forced me to mix colors in different ways to make the painting harmonize and make it all look like one cohesive thing instead of the dog's breakfast. But I hope that you have some idea of what a limited palette painting is and isn't, and how it can help you in your painting journey. So, thanks for watching. Bye!